Is this working? It took ages. Yeah, people are joining. I think it's all right. Okay, hi. Hi, hi, hi. All right, today, sorry, I don't know why, but the didn't want to connect. So it connected and then it was like failed. And I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. All right, so today we're going to do the woven wagon wheel roses. We've got 3 on this pattern. And what I want to show you how to do is to change the color like halfway through. So what's going to happen is I've chosen 2 colors and it's 1022. Let me get rid of this actually. 1022 from Anchor, and then we also have the pink that I used on the very small rose in the free Stitchalong. So it's 1025 and then 1022. I know, so I just let her out and everything, and then I just kept trying to push, like, let's go live, and it was like connecting, and then it was like fail. I was like, this better not happen for real. So what you're going to want to do is I'm going to do 2 different colors, but we're going to do 2 different colors on the same one. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can either take 3 strands from each one to make 6 strands, put them together, and then do the whole rose like that. There she is. Okay, go on. Anyone else's dog knock on the door when they want to come in? Because mine does. And if you don't come, like, immediately, she'd, like, pause it harder and harder and harder. She's so, like, sassy. Okay, so what you can do is you can either combine 3 of each, or you could do 6 of each to make a one like this. Yeah, and do the whole thing like that. Or you can do the middle in a darker color and the outside in a lighter color, so it would look like this. Yeah, or you can flip it around the other way. You can do the middle lighter and the outside darker. So it just depends on kind of what you want to do. Before we even do that though, we have to draw some spokes. So for the big one, I'm going to do, it's pretty big. I should probably do 9. Yeah, so for the big one, we're going to do 9, and then we'll do 7, and then we'll do 5. And then you can kind of see the difference between them. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. That's all right, and then we'll do 7 here. Now, a trick with this is if you've got a spoke here, I always try to make the spokes on either side so you can get to it a little bit easier. I think so, at least. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we've got 5 on this one, I said, right? All right. So let's get started. I think I'm going to do, let's do the middle light and the outside dark. And make sure you do a little bit extra when you start because you have to do the spokes. Great. I think Jessie's decided she's going to eat all of her food right now. So apologies in advance. This dog, man, I swear. So we're just doing straight stitches for each of the spokes. And again, like I said, I made my thread extra long because I have to do the spokes first. This is another one of those where I probably won't get to all 3 today, so I might have to do some catch up on Sunday. Guys, I'm really sorry about the dog food. Like, you're gonna hear every single crunch, and I'm really sorry. God, she's such a brat. But that's all right. So today at 3 o'clock, we're going to do the, I don't know, drink and draw, whatever you want to call it. We haven't come up with a name because we're going to do different activities every month. So we can't really call it a drink and draw or a sip and stitch or... We could do like craft and BITCH. But we'll see. Now, it doesn't matter which way you decide to do it. I'll talk about that later. So it doesn't matter which way that you decide to do it. The whole idea of the woven wagon wheel stitch is exactly the same. So you can either do, like I said, I'm going to do the lighter color in the middle, and then on the outside edge, I'm going to go for the darker color. So I'm going to go about to there with the light color, and then just do the darker a little bit around the outside, you know? Let's see here. Good morning. Wide awake at 5:30 a.m. in Canada and watching with a coffee in the dark. Ugh. Stitch and chew. Now, what I like to do, I went down here. So I like to go up and right in between those two, like right in line with them. And then we do the same under. This is a weaving stitch. So all of this thread is just going to sit on top of your fabric. So if you snag any of these, you're going to pull them all out. So some people like to do them first, and some people like to do them last. I like to do them first because I don't like to have any other threads around that I could possibly snag. Meaning, like, if you put your needle in it and then pull them out, yeah, they can look a little bit like disheveled. So we're gonna go under and then over, under, over, under, over, all the way around. And you have to have an odd number. So you notice I did 9, 7, 5. It will not work with 4. It will not work with 6. And that's because as we go around the first kind of rotation around, if you have 4 or 6, you're always going to go under the exact same ones. You're always going to go over the exact same ones. So now that we went under this one, you'll find that we're back where we started at the very beginning. Yeah. And now where we went under, we will go over. And where we went over, we will go under. And that's because we have an odd number. I also like to take the hoop off the hoop stand for this and turn it as I'm going because, one, it makes me do it quicker. And then I don't have to use my left hand like this. Hi, Kirsty. I was just talking about our crafternoon with Kirsty. Has a nice ring to it. Crafternoon with Kirsty and Tori. Hey. Okay, so for really big ones, like I said earlier, you can always double up your thread, meaning that you have 12 like this, and that will make a nice chunky rose as you're going round and round, and it fills it up nice and quick too. So much more pressure with our names in the title. One name suggestion was drawn threads. Oh, that's interesting. I feel like it's hard to do, like, because I was gonna say like sip and stitch or like draw. What was the other one I said? I can't remember. I said craft in BITCH, you know, because it's just like chatting to each other. I'm not saying the word because I know some people are gonna watch with their kids later, and their kids are doing the Stitchalong. So I'm not cursing. I'm using ladylike words. Drink and draw. I think that is what I said actually. Or maybe it's not. I can't remember. I have too many things in, but we're not going to draw every time. So that's why I'm a little bit like, I don't know. Okay, so a couple people, just real quick as we're going around, have said that they had a really hard time with this. And I think it's because they're pulling too hard. So what you want to do is as you're going around, you're not actually pulling it really hard. You're just kind of letting the threads lay there like that. So if you pulled too hard, you'd actually like constrict all of the threads and really push them all together. You just want them to kind of lay right next to each other. Yeah, so we won't always draw or stitch. So I told the free, the teapot Stitchalong people this morning that next week we're doing, next month we're doing the needle felting, which I'm super excited about. And then it's my turn to buy drinks and buy the craft kit for us. Kirsty says, I'm a tight stitcher. It's an affliction. Yeah, so for these ones, you kind of have to just let the threads lay. Let them lay. So I'm almost at the self-imposed line. I'm going to go around a couple more times just to make sure. And then I'll change the color, and then you guys can see how, if you run out of threads or if you want to change the color, you can do that. Now I might do each of these a different way. Like I might do, like I said, mix 3 and 3 or 6 and 6 of 2 different colors and put them both on my needle at the same time. And then we can see what that looks like. Or if I like the look of it, I might just keep this going. You just never know with me. Please, I'd like to see what the 2 colors at the same time, 2 colors on one needle. Now, the other thing that people seem to do a lot is if they miss one, so say they go under and then under twice, they'll get really upset and they'll like take it all out. You don't have to take it all out. You can continue going round and round and just make sure that you fix it on the next way round. You know, it won't be that noticeable. Okay, I need to stop because I'm going to fill the whole thing, aren't I? Okay, so what I like to do is about to go over this next one. Yeah, so let me just put it to the side here so you can see a little bit better. There we go. So I've just gone under. This one right here should go over. But because I'm going to change the color, what I'm going to do is go over and put my needle down and kind of tuck it up under where I would normally go under. Does that make sense? So it's under, over, and then I should be going under, but instead I'm going to put my needle down right by that spoke and push it through like that and make a knot. Now, when you make your knot, you don't want to pull it too tight to make your knot because, like I said, all of these here are just laying on the top. So if I pulled this really tightly, see how it makes the whole rows like shrink up because I'm pulling the thread from the back. So we're just going to make a small knot here, carefully, not pulling too tight. And then we're going to change color. And when we change the color, save that thread because we can use that thread for the next one, or we can use it for the spokes for the next wheel. So when we change the color, let me just get a nice good amount out. Thread my needle. So we're back where we started, yeah? I've just gone down here. So for this one, we're gonna go up on the other side of that thread, of the spoke. Okay, and then we can continue with our over, under, over, under. So the first one is over, and you can tell because the thread's going under here and over here. So we're just gonna pick up on that same pattern. Because remember, we have to do the opposite of what you already see. So this pink thread here is over, so we need to go under that. And it's gonna lay just like that. And then we can continue with the same pattern over, under that we've already done with the pink. So I'm gonna make it go flat, tighten it up so I don't, and then off we go. Ow! Man, I always do that. I always poke myself on these because I always want to put my finger on the back to like push it through. This is why I can't use the eye of the needle. So a lot of people will change their needle when they do woven wheel roses to a blunt needle, like a tapestry needle. And I'll show you one that I have. It's out in the other room. And that's okay too, but what you can do also is use the eye of your needle to go through like this between, but like I've just said, I don't really like doing that because I always use my finger to push the back like this. So when I go like that, I always want to push the pointy end and then get myself into trouble, don't I? Okay, so if you have a really long thread like me, you can always make the tail really long as well. Let me go and grab the tapestry needle, and then you can see a blunt needle and a sharp needle. Now my tapestry needle that I have, I actually don't have like I don't know what the name or number is because I got it from an antique sewing kit that I got at a charity shop, but it's got a bigger eye, and then the bottom here is blunt. So it's really easy to go under there and not pierce any threads when you're stitching. But again, it's not necessary, like you don't have to have one. Do you know what I mean? It's just if you do have one, then it might be beneficial. But only you know that. So we're back where we started. Yeah, and we're gonna go over. And that kind of covers up where we've just changed the color of our thread. Of course, I've got one thread popping through there. Thick needle for the canvas, isn't it? It's a tapestry needle, so it's normally for like cross stitch when you do the plastic type canvases, not canvas like to paint on. The kind that's got the lines like this. And they're like plastic, and then you put the needle through each one and you make X's like this. Wow, it would really help, Tori, if you put that on the camera. So it's like this, where the sometimes they're like round, yeah, and they're like a hard plastic, and then you can make the X's in the holes like that. Wool tapestry, thank you. We always call that yarn in the States, whereas you guys call it wool here. Get off. Okay, so we just keep going. I think these are gonna look really pretty. I know my friend Tina from Francis Tapestry, she does a lot of work with those kinds of canvases, like the plasticky type canvases. You can make all kinds of stuff with that. So if you're interested in that, you can totally check her out. It's Tina Francis Tapestry, and she's in the jewelry quarter too. Okay, so with these, we don't want to see any spokes. So if you kind of go to the side like this and you can still see the spokes poking out, you still need to go around and around and around. I like to end it with a stem stitch around the outside, and I'll show how to do that too at the very, very end. But again, not necessary. Sometimes I'll just go round and round and round and fill it up all the way. And you don't really need to do that. Like, it's not like it's not in the stitch, if you know what I mean. It's just something that some people like to add that's extra to cover it up, or if they just don't feel like going round and round and round anymore, or if they can't for whatever reason. So relaxing watching you, although I shouldn't. I'm supposed to work or stitch. Ooh! I know, I can't tell you how many times I'll like watch other stitchers stitch or watch reels of stitching or something, and I'm like, I should be working on my own stuff. Why am I watching this? I don't know why there's talking in the middle of this video, but it always makes me laugh. Okay, so I'm almost all the way done. So I can show you how to do the stem stitch all the way around it. Okay, so what you're gonna wanna do, it's becoming really nice, thank you. What you're going to want to do is make your stitches about as wide as you have the spokes. You kind of want them to kind of go beyond that. So for mine are here and here. So I'm going to go over to the next one, because you want the loops that you make to look like they are the same kind of consistency as the loops you have. So if you have them really small, it's going to make almost like a rope outline around them. But if you have them too big, they're going to cut across what you've already made. So what you're going to do is make a stitch down into the fabric. Remember, all of this here on top is just sitting on top of the fabric. Nothing's actually poking through, if you see the back, except for the spokes and when I change colors. That's it. So all of this is really just kind of sitting, floating on the fabric, woven between the spokes that we've already made. Now what you're going to want to do is go down, make a stitch into the fabric and leave this loop. And you're going to come up again really closely in the middle of those two. And pull it, not all the way tight, but tighten it up a little bit. Now, the distance between the first stitch here and here and the second stitch here and here should be about the same. So you're only going forward like a half a stitch here. You're only going forward a little bit because you want to keep those loops the same as the loops you already have that make up your rows. So you're going to do it again. Go up through again and pull it a little bit tight. Now I like to tuck mine in a little bit so they're not like floating out away from the rows, so that they are like becoming part of the rows. So you can tell that this side here I've done it and this side here I haven't. It kind of like bulks it up a little bit, but it's really hiding those spokes that we've made so far. We're going to go all the way around until we meet again. Now, some people really do not like how this looks. Like I said, this is not mandatory. This is not part of the woven wagon wheel stitch. This is just what some people like to do to cover up the spokes so that they don't have to keep going round and around and around and around and around and around and around. Now, again, some people really like to do that. They like to really build up the edges. Because you see it does come off the fabric a lot. So whichever way you choose is completely fine. If you want to just keep going around and kind of squeezing your needle under and continuing to build it up, especially on the edges, then that's all right. It is how it's supposed to look. Or if you want more of like a flatter, like outside of the rows, then you can do it this way. But again, see which way that you like. So we're not snagging any. Ooh, I just went through my thread. Definitely gonna sneeze again. So when you're all done, so I've just done like up through the middle of these two, I'm just going on the outside and putting it all the way down. Because that's it. Yeah, that's it. Now, if you find that you hate it this way, or you've made a mistake in the very middle and you're like, oh, I have to unweave everything. Don't unweave everything. Don't. You can always just cut out, you can always just cut out these spokes here. So the pink spokes is the spokes that we did. You can cut that out and you can save all that thread, because after you cut out the spokes, all the thread on the front here, right here, is just gonna fall off. Because again, it's just woven on the top. So there's that. Okay, really quickly, I'm gonna put two of these together. So a pink, let's do the spokes first, and then I'll put a pink and a red together, 6 strands of each, and then you can see how it looks when they're together. Do I want to do it for this one, or should I do it for the small one? I'll do it for the small one. That'll look better. And I can finish that other one later in the middle of the two. Okay, this one is like a borderline. I think I would probably do 7 spokes on this, but with 12 strands, I think it'll be okay. And the reason that you do more or less strands, depending on how big the circle is because once you get to the outside, see when I put my needle like that? instead of going around in a circle, it might go straight across. So I'm gonna have to make sure that all of these strands kind of lay on the outside and not cut across like this. So if I did 5 strands on this one, a lot of them would be cutting straight across the middle of them and not making a round circle. Okay, let me add this and then the pink from earlier. We can put them together. I'm going to do 12 strands and then you can see how it looks. You can also do the exact same with 3 and 3, or you can do kind of 4 of the light pink and 2 of the dark pink if you wanted to kind of make it look like it's mostly light pink, but there's just like a little flicker of the darker red in there. Threading your needle is exactly the same. You're just going to put all 12 in. I didn't lick it or anything. I literally just put them between my fingers and did the movement. Okay. Hi. Now I find when I do this that the darker colors tend to show up more than a lighter color. So just keep that in mind when you are picking your colors too, like that if you wanted to have, you know, a lighter color overall, then use more light colors and less dark. So instead of 3 and 3, maybe 4 and 2. Or even 5 and 1 if you just want like a streak. So you can totally tell with the 12, it's filling up so much faster and it's much more chunky. So look, with just 5 spokes, but 12 strands. Whereas in the middle of this one, it definitely like tapers down to almost flat. So it's just the way that a different kind of look and a different kind of way to make them. So let's keep going. They both look stunning. I cannot decide which one I like more. I mean, and you can also like flip this one in the inside, so you can do dark on the inside and light on the outside. It's nice to have different choices though, because I feel like, oh, that put it through the middle. Because I feel like some people will really be drawn to a certain kind of look and other people will be drawn to a different kind of look. And that's not to say that one is right or one is wrong. Just experiment. The only thing I would say though is I would definitely do 6 or 12 or even 10 or 8. But I probably wouldn't do 3 or 4 because it's going to take a really, really, really long time to fill it in. I mean, unless you were going for something like almost realistic. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, experiment with a number of threads. Let's see here. Now I'm trying to be really careful to make sure that this falls on the outside and around here and not straight across. Because like I said, it's really easy with these. Let's see here. Over this one, under this one. It's really easy with the 5 ones, the 5 spokes, to get it straight across. So it kind of looks like this, you know, or like that. And you want it to lay on the outside, so it almost like wraps around. And again, I'm not pulling very tight at all, but I feel like I like this one better than the first one. Like I should cut it out and do them all like this, because this is really pretty. What have I done to myself? Okay, so we're almost finished. For this one, I'm definitely going to keep going until I cannot anymore and not do, it's my fave too, yeah. You see, I've snagged that thread. Because I'm not paying attention. Sorry, it's getting too tight. It's got a very realistic quality. Yeah, it does. Until I just like snagged it and made it bad. Now I do this a lot with roses. If you snag them, or if you just kind of want to like make them a little bit more fluffy, you can pull them out like that and they won't look so constricting. Here we go. Sorry, didn't realize that you couldn't see that. So all I did with my needle is just take it like this and pull it out in the different areas and kind of like fluffed them up a little bit like that. So I'm not pulling them up. I'm just kind of pushing them out like that. And that can help to fluff them up. What's the name in English of the tool you're using in embroidery feet? Are you talking about the stand, the hoop stand? It's just a lap stand. So it's just like a wooden tool. Yeah, it's just a hoop stand so that I can stitch hands-free. They sell them at Cloudcraft. I know they have them in stock at Cloudcraft because I've actually asked yesterday. And they also sell them at Hawthorne Handmade. They're both online shops. So there's the two different kinds. I'm going to leave it as at that so we have something to do on Sunday as well, because this won't take very long. Yeah, and I'll see if we can try a different way to do those ones. So I hope that you've enjoyed. I cannot wait to see what colors you choose. I swear to God, I say that every single time, but it's so true. Like everyone's colors are so different, so lovely. It's amazing. You guys are incredible. So I hope you have a good Friday. We do have a video tomorrow. Like I said, Sunday will be just like 15-20 minutes. Catch up. I'll do a little bit of stitching here. We'll have probably one long one and not two separate ones, if you know what I mean, because it's just a catch up. So I'll probably be doing a little bit of work on the free one and then a little bit of work on this one, just to see how you guys are doing. I know a couple people have said that they live by themselves and it's quite lonely. So I thought, you know what, we better go live on Sunday too, just to say hi. Keep your spirits up. So enjoy your Friday. This is how it looks when it's all done so far. There we go. So you've got the two different ones here. And yeah, make sure you're tagging me at the Barmy Fox and using the hashtag the Barmy Fox SAL, and I'll be reposting them as I've been tagged. So yeah, enjoy, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. See you tomorrow.